Mission Garden, located at the base of Sentinel Peak, has a sense of peace and old wisdom that reflects my architectural senses of healing spaces and empowering places. The garden is a reconstruction of the garden built by the Spanish around 1780 as part of the San Agustin Mission Complex. My wife Nancy and I were asked to help develop a portion of the Timeline Garden, and in our case, the Chinese Garden. The Chinese Garden started in the early summer of 2017 from seeds collected from early pioneering Chinese families. We offer to water the newly planted heritage seedlings every evening until the irrigation was in place. After the watering, Nancy and I would walk among the gardens and fruit trees. And as we walked and talked, we both felt a sense of calm, a sense of energy, and a sense of healing and rejuvenation. Perhaps it was the dimming evening sun, the desert calm, the wisdom and voices of former inhabitants, or the contemplative music of the garden. For me, it is easy to say, this is my favorite place. Entering the 3-acre adobe walled garden through heavy wood textured gates begins the space-defining layered views of the Spanish heritage fruit trees, the grape arbors, and Timeline Gardens. The beauty of the volunteers' craftsmanship of the mesquite and Ocotillo ramadas, the Tarahumara chicken coops for heritage chicken, and other small structures and furniture that are tucked into and around the garden. A recent addition of Nisaikia, a watercourse for the crops that the ancient Indians built over 4,000 years ago, was constructed to represent the irrigation of crops. This represents the longest continuously inhabited area in the United States, and eventually this livelihood is found in layers beneath the garden. The archaeology, the history, and the cultures that have settled this area between the Santa Cruz River and Sentinel Peak have created a place that tells many rich stories as we preserve and create stories for the future. It is no wonder that we are at the birthplace of Tucson. Also inspiring is the fact that unlike a standing building, the garden is constantly changing and is full of both animal and plant life. The Chinese have farmed this specific area since the 1870s after working on the Southern Pacific Railroad. The bitter melons, lofas, long beans, and garlic chives that are so healthy were equally tasty to the volunteers who saw these vegetables grow from seeds to harvest. To have this living agricultural museum located in Tucson that preserves and promotes the rich heritage and food cultures of people who for centuries have traveled the world, taking their seeds, their plants, and culture with them. And the exchange and integration of agriculture makes Mission Garden my favorite place. Of course, farming makes everything taste better. Perhaps that is the best story to tell.